Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy watching videos while you work or listening to them, sometimes you find that the content you like is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that is where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today we are starting, well, we're not really starting it, well, not for me anyway, but for you guys. I am working on a sock. It is just a simple 3x1 rib knit all the way to the toe, starting at the cuff, and then I am using some yarn that I picked up from my yarn crawl that I participated in last year. And this is going to be a sock, well, one of the socks of a pair of socks for my brother's fiance. If you are new here, I mentioned in some videos earlier on that basically I bought my brother and his fiance some gifts for their birthday, which is coming towards the end of their birthday month. Both of their birthdays are in May, and my brother and my brother's fiance really enjoy puzzles. So I thought it'd be fun to buy this one puzzle I saw online, but it's back ordered at the moment and won't be available until July. And because of that, I thought I would whip up a little something for them in the meantime to add to their box of gifts. And I thought, what better way to add to their collection of things than by knitting them some socks. So I decided to start with my brother's fiance, and I found a pattern for a rib knit sock, and I'll leave it below. Or, see, before I mentioned that I would stop saying I will, and I'll just say it is below. So the pattern that I found on Ravelry, which is for free to download, is available and is below if you'd like a direct link to it. But instead of knitting a very long sock, I modified it because they are kind of like me and prefer a shorter cuff. So it's kind of like an ankle sock, and I'll probably do a regular vanilla sock for my brother and not a rib, but we'll see how this first pair turns out. But yes, it's a 3 knit purl 1 rib, and it's making a pretty nice pattern. I love this yarn. I originally wanted to use it for myself, but I have a lot of sock yarn and I have a lot of people that I'll be making gifts for later, so I figure why not go ahead and use some of this nice yarn for other people as well. And depending on how much I have left over, I might be able to make another pair out of it. I've seen some scrappy yarn socks, or kind of scrappy stripy yarn socks, so I'll probably have a whole collection of scrap yarn to make new pairs of socks out of waste yarn later on once I've knit through a lot of my stash that I have. And just to give you a rundown of where we are currently, it is Saturday night. We have been having rolling rainstorms all day, and I wish you guys could hear. It sounds like a faucet has been turned on in my basement because of all of the water seeping in from the window well area that really isn't doing much of anything for me. And here is a picture of what my basement looked like the last time that it rained really hard. And this is typical to the area I live in. Even the lease warns people not to keep anything in the basement for the reason of the flooding. And I am well aware that it's not the most ideal, but as a renter, they just haven't bothered to install a sump pump to help with getting any of the excess water out of the basement. So every time it rains really hard, I can always expect some puddling, but when it rains really hard consistently and we haven't had a chance really for the water to absorb from the rainfall we had last week, I just have a kiddie pool in my basement. Fortunately, the water is not ideal to be wading around in, otherwise I could turn that into a fun time. It was so annoying because the last time it rained really hard, of course it was the same time that my carbon monoxide detector's battery went out, and so it was beeping and beeping, but where it is in the basement, you kind of have to walk out a ways. If you had risk dropping it in the water, you rather would not want to do that. So I had to wait a while for the water to go down enough so I could go back down and change the battery. So for days on end, it just kept beeping, low battery, beep, 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 low battery, beep, beep, beep. And I was like, oh my gosh. All through the night, all through the morning. So finally, the water had subsided enough that I could go and change the battery. But man, that was a pain in the butt. It is kind of a little worrisome today, now that the sun is starting to set. When it rained earlier and we had some thunder, the lights in my living room went out, and I was in the middle of uploading some footage from another video, and I was like, oh my gosh, but the computers, my computer didn't cut off and neither did my partner's, so I was thankful for that, but I was like, ooh, I better get this footage uploaded and get to filming tonight, because I might not have any light the rest of the evening if the power goes out again. Like, I could film, but you wouldn't be able to see me. So we'll see how it goes. The advisory says it's for the rest of the week, and yeah, there's supposed to be a lot more rain, thunderstorms anyway. Lower chance of it, but still, when it rains around here, it literally pours. So not too fun. But not before I started filming. I had another little happy hour with one of my friends. And instead of a trio, we just did a coupling, and it was nice just to talk to her. We were on the phone with in Google Hangouts with each other for a good almost 2 hours. Started at 5 and it was about 6:40 when we both decided to call it a night so we could start getting dinner ready. But it's nice to talk. Honestly, I think the last couple times we've been online together is the most that we've hung out as of recent. Since our schedules are so different, we don't really get to hang out a lot in person, so the quarantine has actually benefited us in a way that we can really just be forced to hang out, because it's not like we have any other errands to run or other things to do that would have normally taken up a good chunk of our day. And we'll see. But I like talking to her. I got some more this is actually the friend of mine that is getting married, and so they set the date for summer of 2021, and we were talking about what her wedding plans are. She and her partner are pretty interested in making it more of like a joint thing, which I think is nice. Sometimes I've run into people I know who definitely make it more about them, and they want to make it more about like other people being able to share this special day, then like, and it wasn't like they actually were the type to not settle down. I mean, they're already living together, as many couples these days do, but decide that being married is something that they wanted. Like, she was totally fine with just dating and living together and not making it like under the law official, and so she was pretty content with how things were as they were. So to her surprise, to her family, and even my surprise, her boyfriend had proposed to her. And it's so funny when sometimes the people that you think are going to get married do, and the ones who you don't think are, don't, or whatever. You think they will and they won't, or you think they won't and they will, kind of thing. And so that was that kind of situation, but I'm still very happy that they're not blowing it out of proportion, because it's just a moment to celebrate their legal binding under the United States law. They're not religious, so it's not like a godly type of thing. And it's more of a legal thing for them. And I think it's nice that she's not like a bridezilla. As I know some people who are just like way crazy about that stuff, and it doesn't make it very fun, because it's more of like a showy thing than it is just about what the real ceremony is about. So, at least to me anyway, I think it should be more about you and your partner and sharing that special moment with your friends and family than it is like some kind of concert-like event where it just gets really crazy and expensive. But yes, I did want to ask you guys, since we had some rain, some thunder recently, I don't know if I've ever mentioned to you guys that my cats, Koji and Kabu, do not mind the rain. Actually, Koji was looking out the back. We have a sliding door in our living room where if the weather's okay, we'll have it open when it's warmer out. And he was sitting out looking out of the door, and I asked him, how does it look out there? Because he wasn't bothered by the thunder. So I wonder if any of your pets get bothered by the thunder. Kobuji, Kabu, even the belated, beloved Kokuo, it'd be 4th of July over here, and that's usually when things get weird. You have, oh, wait, what am I doing? Oh, I'm past that, okay. I missed the ring. So there's this gold ring between where I need to do the ribbing, and then when I finish that part, it's just knitting till the end of the round. So I lost my place there. But, so yeah, my cats haven't been bothered by the loud cracks of thunder, the flashes of lightning, the rumbling. Even like 4th of July in the United States, we usually have fireworks. They don't care. So do your pets care about loud noises like that? The only thing that really sets them off is the vacuum cleaner, in all honesty. I can run a blender, hand mixer, other random things that make noises. They don't care. Well, okay, I take that back. There's one thing that bothered them, and that was our stereo system. I finally fixed it so it wouldn't turn on full volume anymore. I just turned the volume down, but when the power would go out sometimes and the stereo would come back on, it would be on a channel that didn't have any stations, so it would be on the tuner and it'd be static and it'd be the loudest thing. And because of the noise, they would hide upstairs. And that was the most of it, like where there was a noise that bothered them so much, besides the vacuum cleaner, that they would remove themselves from the noise. But let me know if your pets are bothered by loud, persistent noise or sudden noise, and if it does happen to include thunder, or if you're in an area that uses fireworks for some reason, fireworks. Now, stranger danger wise, yes, if the doorbell rings and they feel like they're in a vulnerable spot, Koji specifically will hide. Like I mentioned before, mailman could come, or it's usually a male who's our carrier, but male post office worker can come to the door, and if he even hears the lid of the mailbox open, he makes a run for it. Alright, so we're about to start on our ribbing again, but it's just a simple sock, nothing too crazy. Hoping that it'll go by quickly so that I can make the other one just as soon. So thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.